Ty, can you just take me through at the end of that game, what's going through your head between being down 7 to winning?
Yeah, man, I missed a lot of easy ones there in the fourth. Smoked a big layup after hitting that three that would have put us up 2 possessions. That came back to bite us, and they went on a little bit of a run. Missed like 2 or 3 threes in a row, but I got a little down about it. But, my teammates encouraged me to stay with it. They said we would get a chance to win it at the end, and they would rely on me to do that. So those guys kept me up. Drew made a huge three that probably won't be talked about a ton. Had a big steal there in that trap. And we just made plays when we needed to. And I think that's part of the resilience of this group and what we've proven all year. So, it wasn't pretty, but we'll take it and, celebrate this one for the night and, got to get ready for Cleveland.
You said you were down a bit. Can you describe that feeling in any more detail and what your teammates said to get you back up?
Yeah, I missed all open ones. I missed a wide open three on the wing. I smoked a layup that probably should have been a dunk. Missed another wide open three off the offensive rebound, which feels like it's usually an automatic off offensive rebound. And I think that's where I was just discouraged a little bit. But my guys stayed with me. Andrew, Miles grabbed me on the side, just, forget about it. You're going to get another chance to make big shots. And they counted on me, and, I just tried to, make a play in the end.
Drew shot, since you said it won't be talked about enough. What did that mean?
Yeah, it was huge. Forced timeout allowed us to, I think, if he had missed that, we would have probably tried to foul right away. But he made it, and that allowed us to, kind of be more aggressive in terms of just trying to get one trap, and I thought we did a good job of trapping without fouling, forced a couple turnovers. They had a turnover by themselves there at the end. But I feel like that, constant pressure, and we just kept talking about the wear-down effect of they started hot, but let's just wear on them. And we were able to do that, and, I think that's why we came out to win.
Ty, I know I asked a lot this series about going to the rim, but obviously that's the plays that changed the game for you in this one. Seemed like obviously they put Giannis out on you on the perimeter as opposed to you kind of finding him in the middle off a switch or a help off or something like that. I mean, how much did you see that as an advantage if you were able to get him dragged out basically to the perimeter and have an opportunity to drive around him as opposed to meeting him closer to the rim?
Yeah, I was just trying to make plays. I mean, that's a matchup. I like my speed there. I like being able to get around. He had 5 fouls, so we just tried to put him in the action for the majority of overtime. Try to attack him, see if he would pick up his 6th. He didn't, and I just, tried to make shots down the end. But I thought we did a great job of keeping our spacing and just, guys making plays when they had to, and that's what it's about.
Wanted to ask you about sort of everything happened after that ball goes, and obviously got jumped up on the scorer's table and everything like that. Obviously had a moment with Giannis. Obviously had something happen between Giannis and your dad. What all did you see transpire? What all kind of went down there, and basically what happened?
Yeah, I mean, after we won, I kind of blacked out a little bit. I don't really remember a ton. Then all the guys grabbed me in my head. As far as the incident between Giannis and my pops, I had no idea it happened until I got to the back and was showed the video. Me and my pops have talked about that, and I don't agree with what transpired there from him. I think basketball is basketball, and let's keep it on the court. And I think that he just got excited, saw his son make a game winner, and came on the court. But I think we had a conversation, and I think he just needs to just allow me to just play basketball, stay over there. I'll come to him to celebrate. But I think just the emotions of the game just got excited there. But I talked with him. I'll talk with Giannis eventually about it. Just I don't think that my pops was in the right at all there, and unfortunate what happened in the end there. But I mean, this series was a lot of war of words, a lot of war of antics, a lot of stuff going back and forth, and that's just part of this rivalry and what we've built here over the last couple of years. And it's unfortunate what happened there, but I think it's just competition. And as far as my pops, again, I don't agree with what happened there. We'll have a conversation. Everybody's grown men, and we'll just go from there.
Tyrese, Rick compared your iron will to Reggie Miller. What does that mean to you to kind of being mentioned with him? Yeah,
I think I think anything that I do, especially in the clutch here consistently, is going to get brought in the same conversation as Reggie. And I think I kind of mentioned this earlier when I hit the shot against the Bucks in the regular season. Like, he's had a lot of moments here, and I'm trying to write my own story and trying to, continue to, I think Reggie made a lot of plays for a lot of you guys when you were younger, and a lot of people when they were younger to see, and a reason why he's such a legend here, and the greatest player in our franchise history. So I'm just trying to, I think he's laid the groundwork, and I'm just trying to, get to that level, and think that I'm relied on to make plays down the stretch, and I'm just trying to do that to the best of my ability. So, just trying to create moments of my own that we can talk about one day. But anytime I'm mentioned in the same breath as that guy, it's an honor, because I have a lot of love and respect and a great relationship with Reggie.
You said you guys got the same build. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, very skinny. Probably I can definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Ty, TJ had 18 off the bench tonight. Talk to me about his effort and what that did for you guys.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this all year. I mean, the reason we talk about our depth all the time, right, is that we got guys that can chip in on any given night. And I think that throughout the first 4 games of this series, you saw our starters really come out and throw that first punch, and our bench kind of just continue it. Today we were trash. We started the game awfully. They threw a haymaker to start the game, and we couldn't put the ball in the basket, couldn't get any stops. And our bench came in and just made plays, and that started with TJ getting downhill, forcing them to collapse, making plays. And this is something we've talked about, all year, is there's going to be games where our bench is not playing to their ability, and our starters got to pick up their slack. There's games where we don't, and the bench got to pick up our slack. And that's part of the great part about our team. I think everybody talks about our depth and, how much team basketball we play. You see we lead the playoffs in passes, assists, everything. We just enjoy playing on the same team and enjoy just playing the right way.
Tonight you debuted your Undertaker shoes. What was the inspiration behind that?
I love WWE. I've been waiting to pull those out, and obviously I have my pinstripe P that I've been wearing for the majority of the playoffs. Those are coming out soon. I think May 9th is the date. Make sure you get a pair. But the Undertaker pair, I've been holding and waiting for the right time, and it felt like the right time today. Yeah.
I thought he was going to ask, but 3 blocks, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, now, when I tell y'all, top 5. Yeah.
But you had one where you got, I think, Bobby from behind. How important just was that shot? And I guess, do you see, opportunities there when, you can kind of hit it, pick up a block that way?
Yeah, just trying to make plays, man. Obviously, I'm not the greatest on-ball defender. I'm not the greatest defender in general. But I think where I've really grown is just using my IQ on the defensive end. I think sometimes it can come to, bite me in the ass a little bit, excuse my language, but I think sometimes I can get caught floating and not seeing my man. And, I think that's how, Gary was allowed to, find space, and that got hot. But I feel like I've done a good job of just trying to make plays off the ball. And I think sometimes I get a little wild where I try to be a playmaker off the ball and it doesn't work, and it leads to, bad things for us defensively. But I'm just trying to be solid, trying to make plays. Coach tells me if I'm going to gamble for a steal or go for a block, be confident that I can get it. So I'm trying to make the right play, fly around. And I think the guys, I think we have guys like really all our guys, but Andrew and Aaron and Miles, they protect me a lot out there. They make me look like a better defender than I am because they fly around and they make so many plays. But just trying to, make plays as much as I can on the defense side, and I think that it gets our team going too. When I get blocks, we talk a lot about it in the locker room. So I think it just excites everybody. I think it excites our fans as well to see me making plays on the defensive side. So whatever it takes to win, and just really glad we were able to pull this one out.
First of all, there's a lot of talk about rivalry and those kinds of things. From my perspective and our perspective, nothing but respect for the Bucks. What they threw at us to begin the game and really throughout the game was the thing that champions do. They come out and they throw everything, their heart and soul into it. We didn't respond well early. We stayed with it, and we showed the kind of resilience that we've really shown all year. So, my hat's off to our guys for hanging in. Our crowd was tremendous. What happened in the overtime, we were down 7 with 40 seconds. Nembhard hits the 3. We get a steal. Ty gets an and one, and then we got fortunate. They had a mishandle, and we got the ball, and Ty made the play to win the game. And neither team had a timeout. I mean, both teams literally left every single ounce of everything they had out there, including timeouts, and nobody had anything left. So we're fortunate, but fortune favors the bold. Our guys were bold in the last three quarters, and we're very thankful and very grateful to be moving on. We know the next challenge is going to be very daunting as well, but we got a couple of days here, I guess. I don't know when we play. Does anybody know when we play? Yeah, they're saying maybe Saturday or Sunday, but nobody really knows for sure. So anyway, congrats to our guys.
You guys talked a lot during that stretch in March when you won a bunch of close games about how those moments could help you for the playoffs. What did you see from your team in terms of attitude, resolve, whatever, in the final minutes of both regulation and overtime?
Yeah, we were in this situation many times, maybe not quite this dire. I don't know if it was down 7 with 40 seconds, but we were down 7 with under 2 minutes, and it's very difficult to overcome that, but we did it a couple times, and regardless of who we did it against, we had guys that got experience with that kind of pressure and having had that kind of toughness and resilience. So all those ingredients go into the mix when a team pulls off what our guys pulled off today.
What did you make of Tyrese fighting through a couple misses early in overtime to have those moments late and hitting the game winner with just a second to go?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to belief in himself, Tyrese has an iron will. He works extremely hard on what he does. He works extremely hard on his craft, his skill. He's unafraid. He reminds me a lot of Reggie. And, this game will go down as one of the all-time great Pacer wins because of the circumstances in overtime and what was on the line. And Ty obviously authored, a big part of this ending. So congratulations to him. The Netflix people are driving me nuts. They're everywhere, and it's a pain in the ass. But, when a guy like that can rise to the moment with a microphone on and cameras following him all over the place, it's pretty amazing.
Aaron Nesmith has been stepping up this entire series. 19 and 12 obviously came through with a lot of big plays at big moments. Just how important does he continue to be throughout this playoffs? Well,
there was a period in the fourth quarter where we were getting shots, but we were unable to convert. Called a timeout. We put him in a stack action, and he delivered a 3, boom, just like that. And that was a huge play. Then he had a tip in late, and he's involved in a lot of loose ball plays. He was involved in the play in Game 4, which was a defining play as well. A chase down block on Portis turns into an and one at the other end, and it really was a big part of the run we made in the second half. So, look, he's a warrior type player, and interestingly, the former Ron Artest was here tonight, and so got to see him. Obviously, he got introduced during the game. He came in afterwards, said hi to the guys. I mean, Meta now, as he's known, was one of the toughest guys I ever saw in this league ever. And so Aaron displays a lot of those attributes as well.
Time with Giannis a lot in this case, I guess, some of the wall situations. What did you like about just the physicality he brought to that situation, and just what the kind of performance he's stacked over the last two?
Yeah, as you go through a series, you have to keep adjusting to a guy like Giannis. I mean, he just, 30 points, it felt like he had 57. He's just one of those kind of guys, and he also had 13 assists and 20 rebounds. I mean, the numbers are ungodly. And I mean, the way that guy goes is it's just insane. But, we made the adjustment to get Miles on him in a few situations. And then when Pascal had the four fouls and then the fifth foul, it became a necessity. And it's just, you've just got to try to get positioned, hold your ground, and hope for the best, And so got fortunate a couple times. He made some incredible and ones. And, I mean, the game just kept going back and forth and back and forth. And, the threes that Trent and Green were hitting, it was insanity. It really was. And so, it's just one of the really great games that I've ever been a part of.
Coach, when your team was down 33-13, what was your message to them to try to get them back on track?
Fucking hit somebody. I mean, really, that's what it was. Apologies to the league, and I'll take that back. But listen, this is one of those things where when a team is completely desperate, this is what happens. I mean, Tyrese made a pass on the first play of the game and cut through, and Trent just boom hit him, and they were going to be in a hit first mode. It was hard to complete a pass in the first 5 minutes of the game. I mean, it's just really difficult. And, to regain leverage, we had to do a reset. We had to do a mental reset. We had to do a physical reset. And we had to sit down and figure out a way to stop them, because when they started out 11-0 and 13-3, that's not a good way to start the game.
TJ had 18 points in 17 minutes. What do you think of his play off the bench tonight and how he just kind of made some big buckets there at the end of the third, beginning of the fourth?
Yeah, I know he got a standing ovation when he came out in the fourth. Very easily could have, perhaps should have stayed with him another minute, but we had a side out situation with low clock, so decided to go back basically with the starters at that point. But TJ did his job. He did his job tonight. He was everywhere. He was putting pressure on the rim. He was putting pressure on their team. And he was leading the way he leads. And so, our fans got a lot of love for him. I got, tons of respect for him. And, tonight was similar to last year's deciding game, Game 6. He had I think he had 21 or something like that in that game. And, we needed a big lift off the bench, and he gave it to us.
Rick, you mentioned that Tyrese reminds you of Reggie. In those clutch moments, what stands out? What similarities do you see between the two?
Well, I mean, certainly the physical appearance is one thing. And that's no disrespect to either guy. I mean, Reggie was one of the toughest players that I ever saw in the NBA, particularly when you factor in his slight build. But he was wiry strong, and he had an iron will. And he was going to find a way to hit a shot or get to the free throw line or scramble around and get a stop when you absolutely needed one on a great player. And Ty has a lot of the similar attributes. He's stronger than you think he is, and he's very tough-minded mentally. And he similar to Reggie. I remember the old Market Square Arena. There was a picture of Reggie holding the ball, on the side of it. He was the only picture of a Pacer player, and it represents the fact that that player wants the responsibility of being the face of the franchise. And with the way Ty plays, you can tell he wants the responsibility of being that guy. And so, even when it's tough, he doesn't waver in his belief, and he keeps attacking and keeps fighting. And so, no better example than the last 40 seconds tonight.